Captain Kangaroo is one of the most beloved children's entertainment programs in television history. It first aired on October 3, 1955 on CBS, but it was not the only kids show that aired on that date. Walt Disney's Mickey Mouse Club aired on that same date on ABC, but it aired on weekday evenings instead of the morning time slot of Captain Kangaroo. The show had an almost 30-year network run, and much could be said about the show's creator and host Bob Keeshan, but I'd rather concentrate on the charm of the show itself. There are generations of young adults and children who have never heard of Captain Kangaroo and will never know the colorful characters and moments that made the show so distinctive, Captain himself being the most unique character on the show. He had a bowl haircut and with bushy sideburns and a mustache. He would greet the viewers directly every morning as he opened the doors to the treasure house or the captain's place, whichever you grew up calling it. He was an older man with a kind of gentlemanly grandfather charm. He was always friendly and welcoming, and when he was younger he wore a dark navy blue coat and hat, and as he got older he wore a big red coat, but each had huge pockets, that being the purpose of his name, Captain Kangaroo. Sometimes the captain would read stories from children's picture books. In fact, I can still remember him reading a Curious George storybook. Over times, he would show short cartoons. In the 50s and 60s, there was Tom Terrific about a shape-shifting boy. In the 70s, there was Simon in the Land of Chalk Drawings about a boy who could create things with a piece of chalk. Besides activities, Captain Kangaroo had many friends that would stop by unexpectedly, many of them celebrities of the time. Dolly Parton, Rosie Greer, Emmett Kelly, and many more, but there were the regular characters you could expect to always be there. Mr. Moose and Mr. Bunny Rabbit would pop up from behind the counter. Mr. Moose and the captain were always playfully antagonistic with one another, and somehow at the end of their interaction, usually a knock-knock joke, the captain would get a shower of ping-pong balls dropped on him.
After the ping-pong ball drop!
Mr. Bunny Rabbit wore tiny glasses and never spoke a word on the show, but to be so small and cute, he was perhaps the most deviously clever. Mr. Bunny Rabbit always tricked the captain out of as many carrots as the captain had stuffed in his big pockets. Mr. Bunny Rabbit and Mr. Moose had two things in common. Both were hand puppets and both were created and operated by Cosmo Allegretti, who created many characters for the show. Cosmo was also the artist behind the magic board, which was kind of like a giant Etch-a-Sketch and a personal favorite of mine. For me, Cosmo will always be the Dennis the Painter guy, the man with the painter's hat and the white coveralls with splotches of paint all over him. Cosmo actually began on Captain Kangaroo behind the scenes as a set painter, and it wasn't until one day a professional puppeteer refused to make changes to the puppet that Cosmo stepped in, and from that day on, he was the puppeteer, creator of characters, and actor on Captain Kangaroo. Cosmo Allegretti died in 2013 of emphysema at the age of 86. Mr. Greenjeans was a fond favorite of the show, so much so that I always considered him to be kind of a co-host. Mr. Greenjeans was a farmer and neighbor to the captain, and he would always bring over these exotic pets. Once on live TV, a lion cub bit the finger of Mr. Greenjeans. The character was played with such warmth by Hugh Bronham, who passed away in 1987 of cancer, not long after the show ended its network run in 1984. One particular character that showed up sometimes at the captain's place was Slim Goodbody, a guy with a big afro who wore a skin-tight bodysuit with painted on heart, lungs, stomach, and liver. Slim Goodbody extolled the virtues of a good diet and physical fitness. That character was created by John Bernstein in 1975, and still to this day, he is on 120 public TV stations. Another regular to the show was Bill Cosby, who hosted a segment called Picture Pages that taught children mathematic basics and drawing while using a magic marker called Mortimer. Besides the popular characters and segments on Captain Kangaroo, what set it apart from the many different other children's shows was that it never had a single kid on the show. Other shows like Howdy Doody, the Mickey Mouse Club, or the Bozo the Clown Show had a verifiable army of kids. Instead, at the captain's place, You were the kid on the show. Wherever you lived, whoever you were the invited guest of the captain, and he and all of his friends acknowledged you. They looked at you, and they spoke directly to you. Like all things, change came to the Captain Kangaroo show. CBS continually began cutting this show in the early 1980s to make room for a morning news format, and by 1984, the Captain Kangaroo show aired its last episode on the network on December 8th, 1984. The show tried to come back a couple of times. Once in the late 90s, the all-new Captain Kangaroo, which lasted all of 1 year. Bob Keeshan was asked to appear as a character known as the Admiral. He wisely stayed away. And in 2011, the captain was supposed to make another TV comeback, but the actor who had bought the rights to the trademarker Captain Kangaroo suddenly passed away. Bob Keeshan was Captain Kangaroo, and Captain Kangaroo will always be Bob Keeshan. They both endeared themselves to many children over generations, and with the kind-hearted fun enthusiasm of a grandfather. That charm made the captain's place a treasure to visit. Bob Keeshan was married to his wife Jeannie for 45 years, and he had children and grandchildren. He died in 2004 at the age of 76, and he is buried at St. Joseph's Cemetery in Babylon, New York.
Captain Kangaroo. The show ran for 30 years. It appeared another 6 years on public television. On it, the grandfatherly Keeshan visited with the likes of Mr. Greenjeans and talked to his puppet friend.